I'm so glad that they put, I want to fornicate with an alien. What if she's like a squid or something? I don't care. I'm so happy that that's like, because part of me, because there was a couple other questions you guys asked, and they're like, okay, whatever. But like, the fact that you guys put that, or they put that in and it was on your travel channel, literally me, full beard in a onesie, saying I wanted to screw an alien. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, that was like the coolest thing ever.
This guy is gone viral. We interviewed him for our special on Travel Channel, Storming Area 51. We were there. He was there. And this guy's hilarious. And I'm really glad, by the way, that you've like actually invested more time and doing more skits. He has over 500,000 followers on Instagram, and get this, 5.3 million followers on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
And how many on YouTube?
I have 116,000 on YouTube.
How have you been, man? So it's been a while. We're just gonna catch up a little bit. Obviously, like, you're a huge star.
Now,
online.
When you guys interviewed me, I wasn't doing any sort of social media stuff. Interviewed me last year. All of this kind of just started in like the last, I guess, so November, December of last year.
People just love you. What is the thing that you think they why do they subscribe? What do they love about what you're doing the most?
I think part of it is that, like, I tend to test the boundaries in which a lot of people try to, like, you know, conform to things the way they are. Like, one thing that, I mean, the way I got my start was decorating my beard with Christmas ornaments and glitter and stuff for Christmas, right? And so that's kind of been my brand, is to like take something and take it to the limit that I mean, like past like what most normal people would think would be the limit of what's, I guess, socially acceptable, or like the social norm.
Right.
Another thing was the 5-minute crafts, the clothing hacks, excuse me. And what I ended up doing was taking all of those, turn this outfit into like a dress. And I did those, and you're expecting at the end of the video to see some woman, you know, trying that outfit out. And it's me, a 230-pound bearded, hairy dude wearing these ridiculous outfits that like no one would ever in their life spend the time to make or use. Cause they're 5-minute crafts. They're not I'm gonna, you know, spend some time on this type of thing. Some of them took way longer than 5 minutes though.
How tall are you, by the way?
I'm 5'9".
5'9" at 230.
Yeah,
I mean, you're a big dude.
A lot of muscle.
Yeah. Joe, we need to do that.
What?
Work out. We need more muscle. We're really
I'm trying, bro.
I mean, I don't know if you can see, but my arm is like the size of my head.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's all about the angles, though. You out-angle the camera, you can make yourself look a lot bigger than you actually are.
We don't want to look bigger than we are right now, but at some point we will use that trick.
Yes.
For sure. But we are honored to be the first TikTok video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I did that. It was a while ago. I think that got posted.
What are you guys hoping to see? I want to fornicate with an alien. What if she's like a squid or something? I don't dare. Good luck, guys. Have fun storming. Be safe.
You know how I found out about it? I found out about it, I think, last year. My cousin is a huge fan of yours. She follows all of your stuff. And she said it to me, and she's like, oh my God, I love this guy. He's one of my favorite people on TikTok. And I was like, whoa, oh, cool. And that's kind of like, at first, you know, took a look at it. I was like, that's awesome. But then I kind of see, I always follow you. We're friends on Facebook and see what you're doing. And I was like, holy crap, this guy has like dominated all these social media platforms, and in such a great way. It's you and your family.
I never expected any of it to happen. I just started making videos, right? Like, so, and that's kind of how it happened. Like the beard decoration, I did this whole thing about relationship tips. And then I figured out, Gary Vee had made a video saying he's created a way to create consistent content 24/7. And the way he did that is he records and films absolutely everything. Everything is content. And there were so many people that were like, you should find a niche. You should just do this or just do that. And I was like, but that gets boring. You go to someone's page and I'm going to this page because they're showing me how to cook meals, or I'm going to this person's page because they do funny skits. And then they reach a certain threshold and they still continue to do well, but they reach a threshold and not as many more people follow them, or they don't have as many active viewers because they're not reaching out to an audience that they haven't seen or haven't been shown to before. So I just took that same concept and I was like, my whole life is content. Everything. A story about me going to the grocery store or a video of me going to the grocery store to get snacks for my pregnant wife could go viral because for two reasons. One, I'm going to do that anyway, and people like seeing that kind of stuff. And two, because my 75% female followers are going to tag their boyfriends or their husbands in this video and say, if you're not like this when I'm pregnant, I don't want it. Or if you're not like him when we have a kid, I don't want it. And that's where a lot of my content is like, I appeal to a lot of females because of that fact, because I was very, very terrible in relationships before I got married to my wife, before I met my wife. And I'm not the best, obviously, but like I took that concept. I was like, okay, here's all the bad, wrong things I've done. I'm going to do the opposite with my wife. And I'd been that way. And I was like, I'm just going to start recording it. I'm going to start filming anything and everything and turn it into content. And then when you go to my page, you're like, okay, one day he's going to post a video of, him and his baby. And the next day he's going to be, wearing a dress doing the WAP dance. And you just don't know what you're going to see. And that's kind of,
wait, I didn't see that. Do you have the WAP on there? I got to see that when we're done.
I was a couple days before we went into the hospital. I did the WAP dance. And then I'm doing this whole series where there's remixes of songs. And then it goes to Megan Thee Stallion's part where she's like, gobble me, swallow me, drip down the side of me. So I'll go up to my wife with the beginning of like SpongeBob, and then I'll just turn to the camera and do her part. And people seem to like that too.
So TikTok is made for you.
It really is. And that's like, there's so many people that are like, well, my video didn't, I'm like, not every video I post is a banger. No, not every video I post is going to go viral.
Right.
And for a while I was like, I want every video to go viral. And that's when I was doing the DIY videos. I gained like 2.5 million followers in a week because every video of those that I posted was getting 10, 15, 20 million views every day. I would post it and it would be at 1 million views in 45 minutes. And by the end of the day, it was 20 million views.
What's that like to like wake up to something like that?
It was scary. It gave me a lot of anxiety because I went from like growing slowly and like steadily to immediately having 2 million more followers than I did before. And it scared the crap out of me because then I was like, oh crap, I now have to appease these people as well, as opposed to just the people that followed me. You have to turn your notifications off on everything. My notifications are off on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on Facebook, because it would break your phone. Because when I posted one of them and it did okay, and then I posted another one and it was the most viral video I've ever posted, and it has almost 30 million views. I was looking, I was like, this is insane. This is nuts that this did well like that. And I was just like, I'm gonna do
You're like a national, more views than like national TV shows. Frankly,
that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then
those
videos
right there in your hands. It's amazing.
Those videos got posted everywhere too. That's how you know the video is is really, really good, is because people outside of TikTok, people on Reddit, people on iFunny, people on Facebook, were seeing this video of me wearing it was a hoodie that I cut the bottom of it off and flipped it over, and it ended up into a crop top hoodie with a skirt. And in the video, I just go, I'm sorry. And I start laughing because I'm looking at myself in the mirror wearing this thing. And it just absolutely looks ridiculous. I got a hairy stomach, my belly button.
Yeah, but the muscles help.
The muscles help. The muscles
and the tattoos.
And the tattoos.
The girls like.
It's really crazy what ends up doing really well and what doesn't. most of the time the videos that I put very little effort into, not like zero effort, but like just think of on the whim, like, oh my gosh, this would be a funny video. And then I post it and then it ends up doing really well. I'm like, I almost didn't even post it.
Wow, that's so weird. It's like in an instantaneous moment, you can either have millions of views or not. Okay, I want to do a tattoo competition right now. I want to see out of the three of us, because I have some very substantial tattoos, but you guys show them, and I want to see who's probably got like the best tattoos. So I think
What the fuck are you doing?
let's start with Joe.
What do you want from me?
Show us your freaking tattoos.
I'm not putting my legs up. Fuck you.
Show us your legs.
I got Spider-Man and shit.
Show us your legs.
No.
Bro, those are some of your best ones are on your freaking calf.
I have tattoos everywhere. So
Well, I don't want to see everywhere.
Okay. Here's my arms.
Oh, whatever.
My chest. I just got this done.
Aren't they fun?
You see what that is?
That
Tree?
is freaking awesome.
That I got my calves done. What else? I have
Oh, Joe.
my butt. Oh, I have.
Did you say on your butt?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then that.
Nice.
My favorite is this one that I just got though, because it looks like
I
venom.
like it. Oh, yeah, penguin and stuff. It's a
Okay,
whole.
so it's my turn. I have substantial. I have this. It's just a paw. That's it. That's all I got. So I think. Sorry, Joe, but Kevin's the winner here. Clearly.
Thanks for fucking up my set, Emmett.
My tattoo artist tapped out before I did, and I just got this done the other day.
How do you deal with that? I would be like.
It was like 8. I think I sat for like 8 hours for this because it's all the way. You can see it's all the way on my back too.
Oh
shit! Is that like electric? Like what? Can you describe what that is?
It's a tree. So what it is, it's a tree. Here, hold on. Cover up my nipple.
Your zipple?
That's what it is.
Oh, cool. Dig it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I don't know how you could do that for 8 hours. That's freaking crazy.
That's actually when I got this done. I sat for 11 hours. So this
You're
was
a brave son
this
of a
was
gun
short.
to have that.
But he's the next
I won't
session.
even get here.
Yeah, that's not bad right there. The next session that I'm doing, he's gonna do the rest of the branches all up through my neck, and then all through here, and then there's gonna be like clouds and stuff. So it's gonna look like the trees going through the chest piece up towards like this one right here.
Oh, nice.
And then
You won't even need to wear a shirt.
that's the plan.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. So I'll have from here
Very good.
up done on the 29th of October.
Sweet.
And then in November, he's going to start this sleeve. And then my back piece begins in January.
So you're getting full.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to have full sleeves. I want to get my whole body tattooed mostly. So, yeah, except my face. I was thinking about maybe doing something up here, but I'm not sure. I want to solidify my social media career first. So that way, in case something happens, I don't have to like go back to work with a face tattoo. Neck tattoos are okay because they're more widely accepted.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But
That's what I would do.
Let's talk about aliens and shit real quick.
All right.
You know, this is fun.
Real quick.
Real quick. Yeah, right? I know. We go for hours. Why did you go to what took you to Area 51? I know it wasn't just to clap alien cheeks. I know.
It wasn't just a clap alien cheeks. Okay, so so much like how I am on like the TikTok and everything. If something crazy is happening, I want to be a part of it all the time. And the Storm Area 51 event, I was like, I was doing construction full time last year, and we were doing really well. And I was like, well, screw it. I mean, we have some money. Why don't we just go ahead and go? Because my buddy had posted on Facebook. Because his birthday was yesterday. One of the guys that was there with me, the one who had a really hard time talking during the interview, he was there when he had posted on Facebook jokingly about wanting to go because the day of the event was his birthday. And I was like, yo, it's tickets to Vegas are like $120. Like, why don't we just go ahead and do that? And he thought I was joking. I was like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I will pay for the tickets right now. Like, I will set everything up, get an Airbnb. We'll have the whole thing set up right now. And he's like, all right, screw it, let's go. And so, so we did. We bought the tickets and we stayed in Vegas for, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, and went out there. And I mean, we wanted to see what the whole thing was about. And then obviously, like, we wore the onesies and stuff, and like matching.
Yeah, those are badass.
Like that's like kind of how we are, like, when it comes to a lot of things. Like, we do that going to like music festivals, like Watershed, and even just going random places. We'll just go all out. I like being the center of attention, and that was like a one place that I could be like, look at me going somewhere, because not a whole lot of people went because of the whole thing that happened with Maddie Roberts and like the music festival. So
Right.
everyone's like, oh, but it was still an event. Like, it was a once, I mean, right, probably once in a lifetime event.
True. Absolutely. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 27.
Oh, how old do you think we are?
32.
I'm 37. Joe's 90.
No, I'm 38, dickhead.
38. Okay.
Man, I think it's awesome that at 28 you're like still being able to do all kinds of awesome stuff, and
Yeah.
you're
And you just
social
started
media
out
career,
too.
and you got your baby, and
Yeah.
you know, you're able to kind of like grow that in with your life and kind of phase in. Oh, well, you're awake. Hi, Parrot.
Yeah, it's great. You're 27. You're starting this out, already exploding out, and you know you're just gonna keep climbing from there. You know.
Thankfully, we were kind of not sure what was going to happen the last couple of days with the whole thing with Trump and TikTok, but
That's right.
it looks like we're in the clear. And I wouldn't be like 100% worried about it. I mean, a majority of the brand deals and, like, I guess the income that I make from it is from TikTok, because that's where I have the most followers. But I mean, we would have been okay. If you lost that platform, you would just, all those followers would go to the other platform you're on and just follow you there anyway. So yeah,
I mean,
I thought it
there's
was
always
like a
something
Vine
new.
thing. Remember Vine?
mm-hmm.
That just shit disappeared. It was like done.
The biggest reason for that is because Twitter bought Vine, obviously, and Twitter doesn't know how to do anything other than Twitter. But
Yeah.
they weren't paying creators, and creators were only making money from doing like the app downloads and so, like, Flappy Bird and all that kind of stuff. But the top people on Vine, the top creators on Vine that were bringing Vine millions and millions of dollars, were like, okay, we're done. And then they left, and not as many people were watching anymore because those creators weren't posting anymore. But TikTok, I think on a TikTok is so much larger than Vine ever was.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like you can do Vine style videos on TikTok as well. And then TikTok also is now starting to pay creators for views. So you're not in the same position that you were when it came to Vine. The money's not as good in terms of, like, I mean, I don't know. I would say the money on Vine was astronomical when it was in its prime. Because I mean, you're talking people download, because have you ever downloaded when Vine was a thing, did you download the games that were showing sometimes? No.
I don't remember.
So
I don't remember
they
either.
had like the super addicting games like Flappy Bird, the super simple games. And the creators were getting paid like 50, 60 cents a download. And if you have, you're talking like, you know, tens of thousands of dollars a day that people were making just from doing app downloads and stuff.
Wow. So you go to Area 51. It's a huge event. Did you get anything out of it?
I mean, it's pretty dope showing people the clip of me being interviewed on the Travel Channel saying that I wanted to fornicate with an alien.
I want to fornicate with an alien.
I'm so glad that I said fornicate too, because in my head, when you were asking that question, I was going to say fuck. And I was like, they're not going to show that if I say that. So I said fornicate. And it's funny because every now and again, someone will like before I posted about it saying like, yeah, I was there, because not a lot of people saw the main video that I posted like when it happened.
Mhm.
But people would be like, were you you look a lot like the guy that got interviewed on the Travel Channel, said he wanted to fornicate with an alien. I'm like, ah, crap. That was me. It was a super cool experience. I mean, like the people that we went with, they're our best friends. I mean, they just had their baby in January, and she was pregnant. My buddy's wife was pregnant when we went down there. So, I mean, I would say just the experience in general is what I got from it. It was one of the coolest things that we had done last year, and the fact that obviously we ended up on the Travel Channel for it ended up being pretty cool.
That's all. I just wish that me and Emmett got to enjoy it more. We got there and it was film, go, and we were like in and out. We didn't get a chance to see or talk to anybody hardly.
Actually, I think we experienced it better than anybody could, because we got to get in places and talk to people. But
but
I know,
we didn't get a chance to go out and see the people, dick.
Yeah, we need to go out and, I wish we could have got to the gates. That's the only regret I have, is the gates on that night.
To the gates? Oh, on the night.
Yeah. Basically, I was trying to get the
sleeping.
crew to go, but everybody was just absolutely worn out, because the crew too, they were like going and going, and then they get there before us to scout. It's like they are the real people that like
the people that film. I never realized it, because when I do like YouTube videos and stuff, like I'll film a lot of it, but it's so much work to be the cinematographer when it comes to anything, because you're in charge of making sure the shots look right. If it doesn't look right, you have to redo things. And you have to think, because like when you're just like in front of the camera, you can just like you guys probably were pretty good at like improv. You just be you, and you talk, and then things kind of just happen. But
I would like to add to that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Me and Emma's performance doing that, it was actually toned down a lot. They didn't want us to actually
in the actual end product.
Yeah, we tried our best to keep it within the limits, but I was like, I could have went with that, but I couldn't. Keep it down, Joe. Keep that down.
I thought they did a great job of actually portraying how silly you were. That's what I thought.
I know, but everybody says, even on the podcast, saying, "Oh, yeah, you were Joe, though, Joe," and I'm like, I know. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm Joe.
Okay.
But no, I get what you're saying when it comes to that, though, because like when you go and do things just to do them, they're a lot more fun than when you're thinking about having to film it or having to put on, not necessarily put on a performance, because I mean, when it comes to certain things, you can just kind of like you were saying, you had to tone it down, which obviously is some you have to take some amount of effort, but you have to have a stage presence, especially when you're on camera. You can't just you have to like remember that you're on camera and like do things in that way. But it takes away from the experience a little bit.
I think too, we filmed so much, and Joe and I are always on, and they had so much to pick from. The other thing too is, as we were actually shooting and traveling, they were editing at the same. I mean, like simultaneously, they had like a whole room of editors. They were trying to get it all together, and
they'd ship the cards off. Yeah,
it was quick. It was great. It was fun. I can't wait to do more as soon as this COVID crap stops.
Yeah.
It's awful. What do you think about any recent UFO news? Have you been keeping up with any of that stuff?
Any what?
Like any of the recent UFO news, like
there was what was it, that one in Mexico, right? That just happened recently. Was it Mexico? The lights that people were seeing just like a week or so ago, right?
New Jersey? I think it was New
Jersey. And then that CIA footage that came out, they didn't call it a UFO, they called it whatever. But yeah, I've been following it a little bit. I still believe the same that I did back then. Like, it's ignorant to think that we're the only ones that are out here. And they're talking about like they just found, what was it, a resemblance of life on Jupiter, the rings of Jupiter, or something like that.
Venus,
yeah.
They found signs of life in Venus, and there's no other, I guess, scientific explanation as to why phosphine would be in the clouds of Venus other than a byproduct of life. It's pretty amazing sort of revelation. I think
primordial soup.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the first thing is they're going to say, oh, we have biological life, or sorry, microbes,
Yeah.
microbial life. And then, which is like kind of what they're doing now. It's
Mm-hmm.
signs. We're having signs of life, signs of life, signs of life. And at some point, I really do think that
They're just going to say we found life.
yeah, I think they already know. I just
I
think they're
think
trying to.
I think they do too, because like here I was just watching something. I was watching the documentary on Netflix about the Challenger,
Yeah, I
like
was
the
watching
shuttle
that
program.
too.
So what I was thinking about is, so that was 1980s, right? We made it to the moon with computers that, like, our phones have more powerful computers than what they were using to put us on the moon, right?
Yeah, by a
And then
magnitude of like thousands.
and the shuttle program and stuff like that, how they had that whole thing, like they had the technology. Think about the technology that they had in the 80s, the 60s, the 70s, and where we are now technologically as a society. I think there's so much that they know
Yeah.
that they're not telling us. Because what's that what's it was from Back to the Future. Have you watched the Back to the Future movies?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay,
Marty.
so remember when he played the guitar, like it was like Jimi Hendrix or something like that. He was playing in front of
Johnny
this.
Be Good.
They were like, I don't understand. This doesn't compute. Like it didn't, because they weren't. That's not something they had ever heard before. So their brain couldn't recognize it as something that they wanted to hear that sounded good, or even recognize it as music. I think as a society, the vast majority of people, if they came out tomorrow and said, actually, yes, there's aliens, here's this, here's that, there's life here, there's life there, this is all the stuff that we found. I mean, in 2020, I think we would just be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. But like,
Yeah.
for the most part, most people would be
So
like,
much.
they wouldn't be able to process it. Our brains
Like,
wouldn't be able to process the type of stuff that is probably, readily available information for the people that are allowed to know about it.
it's interesting you say that, just to kind of add on. I think what you're talking about, like what you can't see, like your brain can't process.
Yeah.
I know that the ships that came over, like, when Columbus was coming to America, the Native Americans, they didn't even see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a paradigm shift.
Because they didn't even know that ships in that sort of thing of that size, it's just like they didn't even see it because their brain couldn't understand. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Exactly, yeah. So, and
Okay.
they didn't see them until they got into the boats, the smaller boats, because of the canoes. Yeah. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's like a paradigm shift. You don't, your brain can't comprehend it, so it just doesn't exist. But once I don't know, I think there is a process of evolution that we need to get to the point where, like, our brains will be able to recognize that stuff. And it's definitely more so now because we have so much like technology, like sci-fi movies and all this kind of stuff. But I think whatever life there is out there is not going to look, they're either going to look exactly like us, or they do. And that's why we don't know, or they look so far out of the realm of what our brains can comprehend
Totally.
that they're probably here and we just don't see them, or whatever.
Like, could you imagine being in like the 50s? I'm sure they knew in the 50s. And by they, I mean, that was my parrot, she's stretching. By they in the 50s, I mean, the scientists, let's say, that were plucked from their universities to maybe analyze a body that had crashed, or a device that had crashed. And I could imagine what they would think, because it was Christian Jesus, it was church. I mean, that was the known understanding of anything sort of, it was semi-accepted, that was spiritual. And then they come across these undescribable bodies and technologies. Of course, I think back then they'd freak out. I think you're right, though, in 2020, when I speak with people and I say, what do you think about the news on Venus? Or what do you think about the videos that were released by the Department of Defense? And they go, oh yeah, that's awesome. And I go, well, how does that make you feel? And they say, totally makes sense to me. That's basically what they say. Yeah. Like, or they say, oh, it's no surprise to me. I totally believe it. and then that's that. But if you said that in the freaking, couple decades ago, people are like, no.
They send you to the loony bin to get
That's
lobotomized.
absolutely. Are you watching Ratched?
We haven't started watching that yet with the nurse, right?
So great, man.
We haven't
There's
started
lots of
watching
lobotomies in there.
We just finished. I just watched that the devil inside, or what is it called?
Oh yeah, with Tom Holland.
With Tom Holland, yeah. That movie was trippy. Like you're watching it, you're like, what the heck? Have you seen it yet?
No, I was saving it too.
You gotta watch it. I won't go into it, but it's definitely a good watch.
Definitely watch Ratched. It's so great. I loved it. Challenger series was great. Have you watched Raised by Wolves?
Actually, yeah, I have started on HBO.
Trippy.
What, dude, I know. And then it's
what's even going on?
I don't know. I'm on like episode 3 or something like that. But I started watching it because I love Travis Fimmel. I think he is. I loved him in Vikings, and I knew he was in that. I was like, I definitely need to watch this. That movie is trippy as hell, like super trippy. The first episode, I was like, what the heck? And then end of the first episode, and it seems like the each episode takes forever. It's not like, oh my god, the episode's over. It's like, holy crap, I still have like a half hour left. So much has happened, or not a whole lot has happened, and then all of a sudden it's crazy. It's hella good.
Especially the way she kills people.
Yeah,
they just explode.
And then with the eyes, like they just she has different eyes that makes people like, what?
I know. It's like I'm trying to figure out, is this like a mirror to religion, or like, because there's that Campion kid, and then there's the blonde-haired kid. What's his name? I forget, but I feel like there's like some kind of like, Jesus devil something, because one of them is the chosen.
Some sort of religious aspect to it. I mean,
yeah, there's something there.
Because like that was the whole thing of like, are you a believer or not believer? Like, so obviously there's the big religious aspect of it, but I think you're right. I think there's definitely like, okay, what is like the devil and the higher power that they have,
soul.
Yeah, the soul. So there's definitely something there. It's interesting to see, because I'd seen commercials for it or something like that, but the reason I ended up finding it is because I was like, I kept seeing commercials for Class Action Park, and so I was like, oh yeah, I have HBO Max, and the only thing I used HBO for was to watch Game of Thrones, and then once Game of Thrones ended, I was like, well, I didn't really use HBO very much anymore, and then I saw that, and I was like, all right, we'll get HBO again. And
I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. Never. I've tried watching like the very first season, first episode. Okay, well, I can't get through a whole episode. I've tried parts of like the first 3. I don't know why. I can't stick. It doesn't stick for me.
I play Call of Duty.
For Game of Thrones, there's a couple shows like that for me. So for there was Game of Thrones was one of them. Breaking Bad was one of them, and then Sons of Anarchy. The first like 3 or 4 episodes, like it's because it's a new show at that time. It's a pilot, right? So the acting is not as good. The script was good still, but like I knew, because I'll have a hard time getting into certain shows, and then after 3 or 4 episodes, I'm hooked. If it's a good show, I'll watch it. And that's the same thing with Game of Thrones. Like I had to not force myself, but I had to like actively like, watch the first couple episodes, and then it just got into like, I just needed to watch all of them.
Cool, man. This has been a lot of fun. I think it's cool just to talk about aliens and the stuff you're doing. And we do want to know though, Skinny Bob. What do you think of the Skinny Bob video?
I think it's trippy as hell. It's definitely one of those things that when you watch it, you in the back of your mind, you're like, well, this isn't real. And then part of it, you're like, but is it like, what's it's hard to like comprehend, like what I was saying earlier, like you're watching it, you're like, that there's definitely obviously something like that out there, but you're watching this and you're like, well, this isn't real though, because we haven't seen.
Dude, man, sorry to interrupt you. We think alike. That's exactly how I try to describe what I feel and see in that video. Like, there's certain animals I'll come across that are just really super exotic and weird, and they're real animals, but you can tell that you can feel when something's alive. As opposed to, no matter how well anybody can animate CGI, I feel like no matter how good it looks, you can always tell, oh, that's a CGI lion, or that's a CGI. But I just don't get that feeling with that video. Skinny Bob, feels something alive about it. That's what's trippy.
Yeah, and that's the same that I feel when I watch that. It's like I said, it's like one of those things that you're like, you watch something and you're like, okay, that's definitely not real, but like I believe that that's a possibility. But with that, you're like, you can't look at it and definitively say one way or the other, which is what makes it so like what's the word? You just can't look away from it. You want to just try and break it down and see what it is, but you can't.
The muscles and the ligaments and there's just something about it.
Yeah.
But we've been bringing that back up because it's kind of making the rounds again on social media here and there that we've seen, and like UFO Twitter. And so we had a skeptic take a look at it, and he was actually like, he was pretty stoked.
Yeah.
We interviewed him, and he's totally like, if there is no, X plus 1 is whatever, and this is what it means. He's like very scientific. And he was like, whoever did this is really good. That's his English accent.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit stumped by, that's cool. So I think this is a hidden gem. And like I've been saying, Joe and I just want to know where the hell, if it was made, who made it? And like,
because because there's a lot of times where something like that will come out, and then a couple years later, or a couple months later, someone will be like, "Yep, we made that. It was fake." But
this is like 10 years old.
Yeah, and then they didn't have the technology like that. I mean, they did, but not to that extent to be able to see.
Well, the best technology at the time was like Avatar. That was what, 2008.
Yeah.
It just, if you compared that Skinny Bob video to Avatar, they're not going to feel both CGI. It's just, I'm just agreeing with you, man. Absolutely. It wasn't there, I don't think, for somebody to put that. Not even the computers, actually, now that I think about it. Now you could probably do something like that a little easier, but I still don't think it would fool people.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kevin Clevenger at Iron Sanctuary. You got to check him out. He is just killing it, blowing it up.
All right, man.
Later, brother.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Thanks again for having me on.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks, brother. Bye.
Later.
Bye.